All right. Well, welcome back to Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. We have exorcised the demons here and got our audio all fixed up, and we added a fourth member and a fifth member. Um, but if you couldn't hear us earlier, thank you again to Ryan Ripken and his guys. They did a great job. They allowed us to go into their studio and have a great time. We really enjoyed ourselves. We hope we brought something to the table. We also want to thank Delaware Dave, Pig and Rooster for donating pizza to all of us boys yesterday so we could have a good time and have full bellies. Now we're going to get back to the stuff at hand that we wanted to talk about on Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. And I'll let Dusty kind of go ahead and do his role and lead us along the way.
Yeah, we did. We were having some technical difficulties about 10 minutes ago when we went live. Sorry about that, guys, but we should have everything figured out now. Um, yeah, if you look at the starting pitching that got moved at the deadline yesterday, I think Eflin was probably the best starter that got moved. Obviously, that happened 2 days ago. But if you count Jack Flaherty, yeah, but it's a true rental. We were talking about how important it is to have guys under control. And Eflin and Rogers both are going to be under team control through next year. And with the uncertainty of Corbin Burns having Scott Boras as his agent, he's definitely going to be testing free agency. He's definitely going to be trying to get the biggest contract. And if we're not able to lock him down next year, then these are two guys that are going to be pieces in our rotation. We have to remember that Bradish, Means, and Wells all had Tommy John surgery, which means it's unlikely any of them will pitch next year either. So if we get any of those guys back towards the end of next year, that would be great. But we're going to need arms to throw next year, and I'm happy with what we did at the deadline. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think yesterday was a disappointment whatsoever. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, we made the moves that we needed to make. And I think Zach Bollinger, when we were with Rip yesterday, was basically saying to us, they needed another reliever, they needed another starter, and that's exactly what they went and did. Now, how you feel about those pieces that they got, that's that's to each his own, in the eye of the beholder. But they really went out and addressed the needs that they had, and they didn't get rid of a ton of major prospects. The biggest one most likely is going to be the Norby deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody was up in arms that we gave up Norby and Stowers um, in that trade. But I mean, realistically, our untouchables that we talked about, they didn't move, and we stood pat with kind of like what we were saying. We weren't gonna. I think Norby we said was the best one that we gave away. I'm not
Mhm.
terribly concerned about Hayes going away. Now we kind of, I think we talked about it yesterday too. We kind of have like too many people and not enough positions in terms of the outfield. So we think Pache might get DFA today or in the coming days. We're kind of thinking, especially with Jimenez
Mhm.
now coming in. So I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and I thought we were done probably with like 30 minutes left. And Soto, I
Mhm.
couldn't, and that's who I wanted, not who I wanted, but I wanted them to go out and get a guy like him. So I couldn't be happier with that. Could we have gotten another starter? Yeah, but I just don't think. I think the prices were too high for us to go get them.
Yeah, the
So
market dictated that we couldn't go out and get those high leverage arms, those pieces that like the diamonds. You couldn't go out and get those because teams were asking way too much.
And if you look at a lot of people were clamoring for Tanner Scott. If you look at the haul the Padres gave up for him, they gave up I believe, their second, their fourth, and their fifth best prospects to get Tanner Scott, and that's a half of season of relief pitching. So you're talking about maybe 20 appearances for three of their top five prospects. The Orioles were not going to do that. They were never going to do that. Yeah, would he have been better? Is he having a better year than Gregory Soto? Yeah, but Gregory Soto's got great stuff. He's pitched in the postseason before. He's a two-time All-Star. He can pitch late in games. Now we have so many guys in the bullpen that can pitch late in games. Do we have a dominant closer? Do we have Felix Batista? No. But we have Craig Kimbrell. He's going through a tough stretch right now. He can close games. Sir Anthony Dominguez can close games.
Yep.
Gregory Soto can close games. Cano can close games if we need him to. Coulomb comes back in September. He can close games if we need him to. So I think we made moves around the margin, but I think that's what the team needed. And like Brian said, we didn't raid the whole farm. We got rid of a couple guys. And we're wishing well to Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby and all the guys that we traded yesterday. Obviously, rooting for them. Stowers, like I mentioned earlier, is hitting third for the Marlins today. Norby's going to AAA. They're going to try him out at third base. So yeah, it's I think the Orioles did what they needed to do to improve along the margins, and they didn't raid the farm. So I'm happy with the moves we made yesterday. I know a lot of people were clamoring for bigger names, but if you look at the guys who were dealt, look, Scooble didn't get moved, Crochet didn't get moved, Snell didn't get moved. No, none of these real big pieces got moved. Flaherty is the biggest one, and like we said, LA gave up a couple prospects for him, but it's a half a season. What do we think about LA with all the jamboree of starting pitching that they have now?
I don't even know. And I know Clayton Kershaw hasn't, I don't even think he's pitched this year. But if he has, it's been very minimal innings. They have 7 or 8 starters. I don't know. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches there. This might be a move that will say, okay, they're probably saying to Clayton, maybe go to the bullpen when you come back, if you come back, because you can't have Walker Buehler and Dustin May, and then all the guys, the Flaherty and the
Yamamoto.
I can't say his name. That's why I pointed to you. Yeah. There's just so much there. And then hell, let's say Ohtani actually pitches next year.
Yeah.
Then you got another starter that's in that rotation.
How's that work?
How many freaking number 1 guys do you need? I mean, like these guys, they can just go out. I mean, they're going out and spending money and just saying "fuck the luxury tax" at this point, which is kind of awesome. I mean, if you're a fan of the Dodgers, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, you know what, we're gonna win. And to be honest with you, when teams win, sales go up, jersey sales go up, seating goes up, all that stuff goes through the roof.
Yep.
You're probably gonna make up that luxury tax, or at least some of it to help pay for that just in what you're going to gain. And I kind of love it, to be honest with you. So I'm scared of them now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm completely do not want to see them. I'm them or the Phillies, but we'll kind of see what happens there.
Who do we think our biggest losers were in the trade deadline?
Well, I mean, Miami only had 33 guys on their 40-man yesterday.
Okay, so I'll take. We can go with Miami as one, and then I think the Braves.
But look, Miami, they got a lot of prospects back, and they're rebuilding. They weren't going to go anywhere this year anyway.
Yeah.
So look, we'll wait and see. If the prospects work out, then I wouldn't consider them a loser necessarily. I do want to talk about, before we go into this, what do we think about Philly getting? We got 2 relievers from Philly, Sir Anthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto. Both of them have pitched late innings in the playoff for them in the last few years. What do we think what is their thought process? Why are they moving guys?
I really don't know the answer to that question. I mean, you'd have to ask the GM that, and I think it's Matt Klintak. But they were sellers and buyers at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And I think there was another team. I'm blanking on it at the moment. The Cubs.
Yeah.
Sellers and buyers. You do not see that often. Now,
Yeah.
I know I'm steering away from your question because I don't have an answer to what those guys must be thinking. But at least the one thing I can say they'll be thinking is they went to another contender. They went to, excuse me, they went from the team with the best record to, I think, the team with the 3rd or 4th best record in Major League Baseball. So it's not like they went and got shipped to, Miami.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, why are the Phillies, unless they just have, and I just can't think of who it is, but unless they just got guys that are right there that are better and they just don't have room for them anymore.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, those guys are just easy trade. I mean, they get a Hayes in the outfield, which we've talked about that they're known for turning around outfielders' careers and getting the best out of them. So I haven't 100% figured it out yet. And that's without me looking to see who else is in their bullpen right now and how they're performing. But they have to have just like studs there if they're willing to get rid of these guys.
Have to. And props to Austin Hayes yesterday hitting a 3-run dinger. First game with the Phils. Good job, man.
Yeah, 350-foot bomb.
I saw Tommy Pham went back to the Cardinals and hit a grand slam in his debut back with the Cardinals yesterday too, which is really cool for him. Yeah, he did. So I do have the list here. What's going on? We didn't talk yet about Eloy Jimenez. We didn't talk about Austin Slater. I don't know what the Austin Slater move is about. It seems like we kind of addressed that right-handed outfield thing with Eloy, and then the Austin Slater thing came through the grapevine at like 6:15. It was one of those weird deals that got announced like 15 minutes after the deadline was over. Eloy can't really play much outfield. Not great defensively. He has a history of injuries, but the dude mashes lefties. He's hitting 304 against lefties this year. He's had very good seasons in the past. We'll see if we can get something out of him. And at this point, I think he's going to be a luxury off the bench. He's going to start against left-handed pitching. So I do like those moves. And once again, these are marginal moves. We didn't give up much to get these guys. And we got incrementally better at a lot of positions.
What are we going to do now with, I mean, who goes, does Vavra go back down now? He got option today for Jackson. And then Eloy is positionless. Obviously now I was banging the drum that Urias was probably going to get DFA'd. He's probably not going to get DFA'd now. Mateo's hurt. That's really the main reason why he's not going to get DFA'd unless, I mean, he already is the utility. He is the utility guy at this point. Jackson's probably going to be playing second. Westburg's going to be at third. There's got to be another guy that we're going to have to option here, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I don't think Eloy is technically on the roster yet. We did activate Soto, so he is active for the game that's about to start in about 15 minutes. But yeah, I don't think Eloy has been activated yet, so we'll figure out probably in the next day or two what's going to go on with him. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I mean, we have Ashe. We could option him, or like Brooks said, Urias, who's been struggling this year defensively and offensively. Really, not sure what his value is besides positional utility at this point. And also, we have Kobe Mayo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's probably going to be. The fact that we didn't move him tells me that he's probably going to be playing a factor. And also, Elias has already said he wants him to play a factor this year.
I think Eloy didn't get called up because they're still trying to take all the leather off his body, and like he should not bring a glove. He should not bring a belt that is made of leather. He shouldn't even have leather gloves for batting, but because the man should never see the field other than to bat against lefties. Yeah. And this allows O'Hearn not to have to hit against lefties moving forward. Yeah. That's, I think, the biggest move there. So they can play matchup games when we get if we're lucky enough to get to the postseason, knock on wood. I think that's the move, and he'll be up sooner or later. You don't trade for a guy not to bring him up. It's kind of like, I think Pache might have been thrown in the deal. He's great glove, no bat. I mean, he should just bring leather to the field and no wood.
Yeah. We can combine those two guys.
We can
some sort of mega person.
make some sort of mega person.
Captain baseball player.
What the hell are the Cubs doing?
I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't know if they want to contend or if they don't. That division is so weird to me.
They sold and bought.
I know, it's so bizarre. Like everyone thought Tyon was going to get moved from them, and he stayed put. And then they traded Morel, and they got Isaac Paredes, who's a great player, but Morel was one of their younger, future guys. It's been it was such a weird deadline for them.
Weird deadline.
Yeah.
But a lot of moves. I think I might have read, I might be off by a little bit here, that there was a record number of trades made.
Yeah. Ton of trades.
Seattle and the Royals are going all the way.
Oh
yeah.
If you're a Royals fan, you've got to be tickled.
Yeah.
So tickled pink. I mean, absolutely just sold out to get players to compete.
Yeah, and not to mention Bobby Witt is 29 for his last 60. He's hitting 489 in his last 15 games. That dude is a stud.
He's swinging a lightsaber. I mean, he's just slicing balls all over the park.
Yeah. He is fun to watch. Yeah. Let's talk about Jackson Holliday, guys. We haven't talked about him yet. We probably could have led the show off with him, but there's so much stuff to talk about today. Jackson Holliday coming back up from the minors. Hopefully, gonna be a little bit better than his last stint. What do we think? We have high hopes. He's starting at second today.
Yes, he is starting at second. I also want to start with this about Jackson Holliday. I wanted to headbutt every single person that said we should trade him for another talent. Yeah, sure. You know who I'll trade him for? Skeens. Yeah. Paul Skeens, the only person that we're trading Jackson Holliday for, period. And so anyone that would say that to us wherever we were, I just wanted to absolutely headbutt them, or Jean-Claude Van Damme them. Something ridiculous. Or Steven Seagal just shows up and just starts karate chopping people, because you cannot get rid of the number one prospect in all of baseball just because you really want a pitcher.
Not only that, it was a pitcher that was going to be a rental.
Yes.
Like it was either Scooble or it was going to be Crochet. Crochet's already said that he's not pitching in the playoffs if he doesn't have a deal, which I get. The guy has injury issues. You want him to. He's already pitched over what he's ever pitched in his life. You want him to keep pitching and get hurt again. He doesn't want to take that chance. I get it. The guy wants to get paid, but yeah, I'm not trading our number 1 through 3. I mean, our untouchables really for a guy that we're going to rent. I mean, for 3 months, he's going to be a 3-month rental. I mean, that's why that's why the guys we picked up are nice because what Rogers has next year, I believe, Eflin has next year as well. So, I mean, we also have to think we have 3 guys that aren't going to be back next year because of injury either. Plus, Corbin Burns potentially. God, I hope not, because that's going to be like watching Mussina walk out the door again.
Yeah.
I pay that man whatever he freaking needs, and he deserves to go. He deserves to go test the market and run his number up. But I mean, if I'm the Orioles, like, how can you let that guy go? He's top 3 in Cy Young voting every year now.
Yeah, you can't. And also, for those of you, we're at Chateau de Rogers today. We have George Costanza, the Timeless Art of Seduction. And we also have Miss Dixie, and I think she wants to contribute to the podcast from time to time. So that's our little doggy there. And now we got Miss Kirsten coming in the house with some food for the boys. We've been fed by everybody this weekend. This is our weekend, by the way. So yeah. So I'm just vamping here while we continue to I don't know what's going on with technology today, but it's not working.
Technology
and I'm sure
is not our
I'll be
friend
the one
today.
that gets blamed for it.
Well,
So
who else
right
would
now,
get
you guys
blamed?
can just stare at my pale legs.
We are at your house,
You-
so this has to be your fault.
Yeah, so we got to see Corbin Burns pitch last night. It's not the first time I've seen him pitch. I saw him pitch on opening day. It's the only 2 games I've been to this year that he's pitched, which is awesome. He hit triple digits in the 6th inning last night, by the way, with that cutter. I mean, yeah, dude's just a complete stud. If we lose him, that would really, really, really suck. But yeah, I mean, in totality, I'm happy with the deadline. I hope you guys are. I know a lot of Birdland was clamoring for bigger names, but like I said earlier, not a lot of big names got moved, guys. And the prices were absolutely crazy. I mean, 3 top 5 prospects for a half of a season of a reliever is outrageous. Mike Elias is not paying those prices. It's crazy.
The San Diego Padres better win this year or next year, because after that, they're going to be they're going to be the White Sox of this year for probably 5 or 6 years, because they're going to have aging talent and they're going to have no farm system whatsoever. So get ready to feel like the Baltimore Orioles from the doldrums of the early 2000s. Enjoy yourself.
I don't know how they haven't done, but I think they made 1 CS over these years.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why. I mean, obviously you got to play as a team, right? Like, it's if they're not vibing over there or whatever, but it just doesn't make sense. They have all the freaking talent in the world all the time, and they just don't do shit.
I mean, well, when you're either your best player or second best player likes to jet ski more than he actually likes to play baseball, that's usually a problem. You know, I don't know. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I'm assuming that's a problem, because then he lied about jet skiing. So
Yeah.
And then when you have guys cutting their hands and doing stupid stuff and lying about COVID, I mean, just it seemed like they got a bunch of bad guys in the locker room.
Yeah, it's really bizarre situation in San Diego. I don't really know how else we can put it. We did talk about this a little bit yesterday in the Ryan Ripken episode. If you guys didn't tune in yesterday, we did a collaboration with the Ryan Ripken show. It was awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It was really cool. What do we think defensively? Do we think that Gunnar? I think Gunner's probably going to stay at short. Holiday's going to go to second and Westberg at third. Do we think that's the best situation we could have, or do we think we could shuffle that up a little bit with Gunner's recent struggles at shortstop defensively? Or is that going to be something we're just going to try to work out and then and see how it goes?
Brooks, go ahead, take it away on this one.
I think that's exactly what's going on. And to be honest with you, I said it yesterday. I think Gunner's just mentally and physically exhausted. I mean, he had the All-Star break. That really wasn't a break for him. He had the home run derby. I don't believe in the home run derby thing where it messes up your swing, unless you get hurt during it. But yeah, I think there's just been some footwork issues for sure, especially around second base. I think our buddy Drew pointed that out the other day. He he would know better than anybody, but like the footwork and being in the right spots and setting himself up to make it plays a little easier on himself has not been his friend lately. And then he's hard on himself after that. We've learned from Ryan Ripken that the dude is just like one of the most competitive dudes in the world. So when he starts struggling, it tends to multiply sometimes. Hopefully he can kind of get through that. We also have to remember, like, this is his second full season. Just turned 23. So he's going to get better. And a lot of people do say, like, well, he's a young kid, he shouldn't be tired. You go out there and play. I was tired playing a whole lot less games, and I'm sure you guys were too. So like, I can't imagine playing this many games.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like Rip said yesterday, and like we talked about off camera, when he gets frustrated, he then presses. And when you start to press, nothing successful is going to really occur unless you absolutely strike lightning in a bottle. So, I mean, I think where we are defensively, that's exactly where we should be, because he is the future. Those three guys are the future. And then first base can maybe be a little bit of a rotational thing. You might even see Adley move there in time to save his knees. Also, I would like to bring up James McCann real quick.
Yeah,
we didn't touch on him as much as I thought.
Yeah, we need to talk about this guy, dude.
He's wearing like a Batman mask today and playing in the freaking game. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Just an absolute stud. Got multiple fractures in his nose, 95 right off the nose. You could see his nose on the side of his face the other day before they popped it back in. It was pretty disgusting to look at, but what a tough son of a bitch that guy is.
He should get paid for being a badass. Forget his baseball acumen. Just being a badass. He should get paid.
Somebody made a cool shirt, or at least did a rendering of a cool shirt that our buddy sent to us, but we are definitely getting a shirt made with those nose tampons up the nose.
Yes.
And if this doesn't bring a team together, I don't know what will. I actually thought the Kerstead thing might do it, but obviously not much happened after that. But it seemed like the boys started. It was almost like a rallying call once that happened. And that's a guy you're like, you know what, let's go fucking fight for this thing.
I never advocate for someone to get plunked. I want him to get hit today, not in the face. I want to make that very clear. But I think the entire bench, and I think people might come out of the stands to then fight that pitcher, even if they hit him in the toe.
So we were talking about this at the game last night. Burns, was he just missing inside last night, or did he just miss trying to hit Vlad last night? Like, what do we think about? I could definitely see Burns as a hard-nosed dude that's going to go. He's like, you know what? We're going to go after Vlad and hit him, plunk him in the ass. Like, obviously, we're not going to go head hunting or anything. Like, give you a little plunk in the ass, go down the first. And then he did end up hitting somebody and got him pretty good in the rib cage, I believe. Like, that did not feel good, especially him throwing anywhere from 8 to 100 last night. So,
unfortunately, I was getting beer at the time of the plunking, so I didn't see where he got hit or who got hit.
I think it was
what
ribs.
The count was, because usually the count will tell you if it's intentional or not intentional.
Yeah, and there was a guy on first, and I believe there was 2 outs, and we were up by 3 at the moment. So the situation was right for it, but it also could have been. I mean, Vlad's so freaking hot right now. You have to go inside on him at some point, or you have to at least make him a little bit uncomfortable. So I could have seen either way. Either way, should be over with. There shouldn't be anything else after that. Toronto didn't react like they were all up in arms, so I think they just said it is what it is.
Are we surprised Toronto didn't make more moves given the situation they're in terms of their season kind of being on a downturn?
I mean, they did move a few relievers. Am I surprised they didn't get rid of Bo and Vlad? No, not really. Okay. I don't necessarily know if they're going to be sticking around in Toronto long term. I believe they're under control through next year, both of them, and that's it. No, I don't think so, because they would have moved them otherwise. I do believe they have control next year. I could be wrong. We'll look that up. But yeah, I think they moved quite a few bullpen pieces. I didn't think Gossman would get moved. There was some rumblings that people were throwing around that maybe they could move him, but that's a lot of money still left on his contract.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Am I surprised? No, not really by any of the teams in our division, any of the moves they made. The biggest move in the division thus far has been Jazz Chisholm, who's hit 2 home runs 2 nights in a row off of Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, who are 2 of the very best pitchers in the league. So just providing a spark plug for the Yankees, which is not what we want right now.
Yeah, we need to phone up Tim and say we need you to get up there, and then we need you to sabotage. Get up there and sabotage.
By the way, I also like how we talked after McCann got hit in the head. And this actually, I think Zach Bollinger might have brought this up. I hope I'm saying his last name right, but Zach from the Ryan Ripken show, he said James McCann should pitch the next game of the doubleheader. And I wish he would have done that and just got on the mound in the first inning, one eye open, and just turned and thrown the ball directly into the Blue Jay dugout. And hopefully not hit anybody, just hit the back wall and just send a message like, we're not fucking around, guys. We're here and we're coming after you.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. What do we got up next? Any other trades we want to talk about before we move on? I think we hit most of the ones that we forgot about or missed yesterday.
I think we really beat a dead horse at this point because we've talked about a lot of these things. And I think we're all kind of in agreement that we're happy with what the Orioles did. They addressed their needs, maybe not with the highest price talent, but with talent that at least can get us to where we need to be.
Happy that they're taking on contracts that they normally wouldn't take on or even entertain any of these trades because they would not be willing to pick up any of the contract. They would just want them to eat all of it. So, I mean, that gives me some hope for the future for sure, especially with the new ownership, because this is the first time we've been through a deadline with them now. So it's a good gauge.
And that's something we talked about a couple of podcasts ago is that, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And we had to really be hesitant because we didn't know with this new ownership how they were going to attack the trade deadline. Now, they attacked the trade deadline, but they did not go the old route or some of the old school methodology of absolutely selling the farm so that we're depleted moving forward in the future.
Yeah. And I mean, look, we've got a pretty stacked free agent class of pitchers coming up with Corbin Burns probably hitting free agency. We've got Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole could opt out, Blake Snell could opt out. He's almost certainly going to if he pitches well in the second half of the year. Shane Bieber is going to be coming off Tommy John, but he's going to be a free agent. Jordan Montgomery, Max Fried, Walker Buehler, a lot of guys are hitting the free agent market. So if we want to reload on arms, then that's probably going to be the time to do it is in the offseason. Also, the trades in the offseason, I wanted to note this. Trades in the middle of the season at the trade deadline are so much more expensive than trades in the offseason. We saw this. We gave up Joey Ortiz and DL Hall to get Corbin Burns. He's one of the best couple pitchers in the league. And yesterday, the Padres gave up 3 of their top 5 prospects for 20, like half a season of a reliever, probably 20 appearances. So it's 3 of their top 5. I think it was 2, 4, and 5, but it's crazy. Also, I think it's interesting yesterday, no top 100 prospects in baseball were traded at all. So that tells me that teams are not going to mortgage their future for these marginal players that are going to make their team a little bit better. I think the Orioles did a great job of that.
There's a methodology change that's going on, and it probably has to do with sabermetrics and all the analytical stuff. You're seeing these guys, teams used to absolutely deplete their farm system to then, go into the doldrums for a couple years, but they were, selling out. The Royals really sold out, but not with, I don't know if they have any top 100 prospects to even get rid of, but they at least sold out. The Mariners sold out. Sean Barletta, shout out there to your M's fans.
Yeah.
But I just really think you're seeing a big methodology change or mindset change from GMs. And I think it's awesome. And that's also, you made a great point. I never really thought about it that way in regards to trades in season and trades out of season, because you were right. Some teams just start panicking.
Mm-hmm. And that goes for both sellers and buyers. teams will panic. And in the offseason, you have so much more time to discuss and go through your options. So it just makes the world of difference. Some names that didn't move before we move on from baseball, some names that didn't move that we kind of thought might. Mason Miller, big name. A lot of people thought he might move. He didn't go anywhere. The A's are going to hold on to their horse for at least another season, or at least through the end of this season. Scooble, Crochet, a lot of big named arms that were kind of getting thrown around. Snell, none of those guys got moved. So yeah, if you're still in the camp after listening to us and listening to Ryan Ripken and everyone and all the people covering this trade deadline, if you're still in the camp that the Orioles didn't do enough, I mean, what did you want us to do? None of the big names got moved, and if we wanted to go for one of those big names, would you be happy giving up Kobe Mayo, who's got 50 home runs in his last 162 games, or Jackson Holliday, who's our starting second baseman today, who's the number one prospect in baseball, or Samuel Basayo, who's a 19-year-old who hits absolute moonshots, who's got the ability to catch? I mean, look, you're just not going to mortgage your farm for these kind of guys.
You can't get rid of a guy with the last name Mayo. I'm just going to throw it out there. Because either a great sandwich or hot dog or a great section in the ballpark is going to be named after Mayo. There's too much, alliteration that can happen here.
Who's putting mayo on a hot dog?
I believe there's a redhead that lives in this house that sleeps in the bed next to me.
I know we had
mayo on a hot dog.
I bring this up because we were talking about this yesterday with said redhead, and that's the work of a psycho.
Well,
that's the work of a psychopath.
I'll
putting
sleep with
mayo
one
on
eye open moving forward, everybody.
Yeah, you might want to watch yourself. Dustin says I'm a psycho because I like crunchy peanut butter over creamy. So teach their own, I guess.
A bunch of stuff happened. I know we're trade deadline. We reacted to a lot of baseball stuff. If there's any other baseball stuff or any questions you have, we're live right now. So if you want to ask, go ahead. We're going to talk a little bit about some football, though. A couple things happened in the world of football this past week that we haven't been able to talk about yet. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, got a 4-year, $212 million extension with $167 million guaranteed, $42 million signing bonus. If you look at the contract details, the last year's a team option. It's for a frick ton of money. So really, this is like a 3-year, $50 million a year kind of thing. It's the going rate for quarterbacks now. Jared Goff got basically the same contract. We're going to talk about Jordan Love, got a very similar contract. Do I think Tua is a top 10 quarterback in the league? I think he's probably right on the edge. He's somewhere in that 10 to 12 range. But if you're Miami, what other options do you have? So I don't know. I don't necessarily love the move for Miami. What do you guys think about it?
Well, we know Brian does not like Tua. Well, I shouldn't say he doesn't like Tua. He just doesn't deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
He's a product of a system.
And I mean, if you think about it, to learn Mike McDaniel's offense took Tua a long time to figure it out. And does Mike McDaniel really want to go and start over with somebody else to try to teach them the whole system now that he has somebody who understands it, who performs well in it, knows where everybody needs to be, all the checks? I mean, and the biggest thing about his offense is accuracy and decision making. And Tua's been great at that when he's healthy. So and that was pretty cool of Mike McDaniel to go into the owner's office and vouch for Tua and say, give Tua what he wants. Like we need, let's just get it done.
And to this point, and I don't want to drop the name, but a very star-studded Ravens linebacker came in and was having a conversation I was just happy to be kind of on the periphery of. He came into Charleston one day, and they were about to play the Dolphins. And he actually said to the person he was talking to, and I forget that gentleman's name, that they are actually strategizing more for Mike McDaniel than they are for Tua.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, and this is nothing against Tua, he's probably a great human being. He's a very accurate quarterback, but he is the product of having an absolute track star team around him.
Yeah.
Some of the guys on that team make other professional athletes within the NFL look slow.
Yeah.
And so that he is a product of that. And I'm sorry, if you put Jordan Love on that same team, Jordan Love's probably getting more money than what he got from the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and we haven't seen. We'll talk about Jordan Love in a second, but I did want to mention. Well, while we're talking about the Dolphins, I'll mention this. It's awesome to watch them play offense when they're running right, just because they're so fucking fast. Tyreek and Waddle give them the ability to extend their route trees a lot deeper than a lot of other teams can, and that is such an advantage for Tua. But yeah, I think I want to ask you guys this: do you think the quarterback contract thing is going too far, or do you think it's kind of like a natural evolution or like a product of raising cap numbers? Or, I mean, what's our opinion on that?
Without a doubt. I mean, I have a lot of thought on this. It's gone too far. It is, you don't need to be next man up should not be the highest paid man up. I don't believe it's sustainable. I get it's going to be a salary cap bump, but something that we really need to focus on, and I'm not trying to take a left turn from the right-hand lane, is I don't know if the salary cap is going to continue to jump in the exponential degree it has the last couple of years because of this $14 billion lawsuit that the NFL most likely will have to pay in a couple of years. So owners might have to start just like watching their pocketbooks because
starting
that
to see it already.
Trust law thing going on from NFL Sunday Ticket. The salary cap, and Jerry Jones even spoke to this.
That's what I'm
saying.
The
salary cap might go down a little bit. And then if you have these big ass contracts for quarterbacks, you're screwed.
Nobody's going to know better than Jerry Jones about where our revenue is and where the salary cap's going to go, because he's the one negotiating the TV deals and everything like that for the NFL.
And this is really your cup of tea, Brooks. I mean, being in the industry you're in right now, I mean, how scared would you be to be dumping money into a property, or something, if you don't know if you're going to have, money going up and up and up and up and up?
Yeah, I mean, you're gambling at that point. It's hard to predict the future, but I mean, when you're Jerry Jones and can kind of see the writing on the wall, that's why Dak hasn't gotten done yet. I mean, Jerry Jones basically came out and said, like what you said, we need to tread a little lightly here. But then he also said, like, if I come out and I sound confident, just know I know where it's going. If I come out and I'm treading lightly, then you probably know where it's going. And then they asked him, like, okay, Jerry, where's it going? How confident are you right now? He goes, well, I'm both confident and not confident. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean,
What kind of answer is that? That's like a hard maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I understand he doesn't want to give up any leverage to Dak, who has all the leverage in this situation. But yeah, I think we're already seeing it with Jerry that he's not willing to be like, I'm not going to go give Dak Prescott the world here. So we'll see. Maybe he will, but like you said, I think it would continue to jump if they didn't have this lawsuit coming up. But I mean, this lawsuit and $14 billion is, I mean, I'll take one of those.
And by the way, shame on all of us as sports fans and anyone watching out there. Thank you, one, for watching. But where were we? I didn't even know this court case existed until like 2 months ago, and apparently it's been going on for like 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary it's got to be scary for owners. And look, if you're on the hook in 4 years, if the salary cap goes down and you're on the hook for Tua for $50 million, you might be looking at that decision and be like, I don't know if I want Tua for $50 million anymore.
Miss Kears, can you actually contribute something real quick? We need you real fast on one thing. You can talk right into this mic.
Yeah, we have to ask you about the mayonnaise on the hot dog situation.
We want to know what you think about mayonnaise on a hot dog and why you enjoy it.
It's the best condiment ever.
That's all we need. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all we need. I do agree with her. Mayonnaise is a very strong condiment, but it's just you got to know your place. Mayonnaise, and your place is not on hot dogs.
We're not making hot dog salads.
If you're a Miracle Whip person and you're watching us right now, please sign off. All right, the Miracle Whip is not mayo.
I'm a Hellman's guy. Dukes or Hellman's. I'm a strong Hellman's guy.
I'm a Dukes guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I'm a Dukes guy only because the Dukes Mayo Bowl and they dump mayo on the coach.
So if I go in your fridge right now, we're finding Dukes.
No, it's whatever she buys. It's like Kraft or something. And she likes that avocado mayo too. And I need to rethink my life.
Another contract. Jordan Love, 4 years, $220 million, 155 guaranteed, $75 million signing bonus is the biggest in NFL history. Jordan Love has played a full season now. I would say his last 10 games were excellent. His first 10 games were not. What do we think? His last 10 games, I believe he had 18 touchdowns and 1 pick. So do we think this is something the Packers had to get done? Do we think this is scary because we've only seen such a short amount of Jordan Love?
I really trust the Packers organization. They have always done well by their team. I know the Aaron Rodgers saga was a bit of a hiccup, and they're probably happier they got rid of Aaron Rodgers, but they have done a great job. If you really think about it, they've had 3 quarterbacks in the last 30 years between Favre, Rodgers, and now Love. And if they're putting their money behind Love, that tells you they really believe in that man.
Yeah, it just seems like they're. How can we figure out what they're doing over there? They've had 3 decades of just top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I mean, potentially, I should say. We'll see what Jordan Love ends up being, but the way that he's come to form is kind of phenomenal, to be honest with you. I know that they have the strategy of really they draft somebody to let them sit and learn and stuff behind them, but I mean, it's hard to keep a quarterback that long and figure out pay and putting a good team around them and everything like that. But I mean, they look like geniuses right now with Jordan Love. They just signed him up for what was it, 10-year contract. So they almost have him for, or no, Jordan Love was a 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Until his I guess so until his rookie deal is up. Is that when it's over?
No. So this is the last year of his rookie deal.
So they
just extended on top of it. So this year, the salary cap is not going to be it's not going to be that bad for Jordan Love. It's the 5th year rookie extension for a first rounder is usually around $20 million for a quarterback. So $20 million for a quarterback, $20 million obviously is a lot of money, but in the NFL, in the grand scheme of things for a quarterback, that's pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah. And just one other thing, I want to say to our viewers, I get it. If you don't like Dak Prescott, if you don't think he's the future, but if you're the Cowboys, what other option do you have? You want to run out Jacoby Brissett and win 8 or 9 games every year? I mean, you kind of hitched your wagon to him, and they're going to have all kinds of issues because they have to pay CD, they got to pay Parsons, they got to pay Dak. They've got a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and I don't think they're going to be able to afford all 3 of them. And
you could bring back Brandon Whedon. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I think he might be 42 now, 44.
Yeah.
He's still got great hair. And by the way, I'm going to go back to the Packers real quick. Will Wells, thank you for listening and watching. I can't believe I'm talking this nice about the Packers, but thank you for your support. And damn it, I don't like that you signed Jordan Love to that contract because he's going to be a really good ball player.
Yeah. Anything else NFL wise? You guys want to talk about the onside kick rules that changed yesterday?
Do you want me to smash this microphone? The only one, the one of 2 that work.
I mean, this has to be something that during practice or during the off season as special teams coordinators were trying to figure out all the new rules already.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to bring up it is really easy to get onside kicks back or something, or somebody figured out something and brought it, or multiple teams did and brought it to their attention. They were like, this is an unfair advantage.
Let's just for you guys listening, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, I do want to give you a rundown real quick. Basically, no more onside kicks unless it's the 4th quarter. No more onside kicks unless you are the losing team in the 4th quarter. And if you're going to do an onside kick, you have to inform the other team before you do it. So we're talking about a very significant rule change. Onside kicks were obviously a very low percentage thing before. We're pretty much going to see them get extinct from the NFL at this point. I think this is what's going to happen.
To put it in baseball terms, it's like saying, hey, we're going to run the hidden ball trick here. Just hold
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we don't even know what onside kicks are going to look like with the new format anyway. Even if they call onside kick, right? Hey, we're onside kicking with the new format. What's that look like? I guess we're just going to need a year to kind of figure it out, see what it even means. Because we're all thinking all right, it's going to be the same setup as before. Well, maybe it's not because I don't really know with the new rule.
We're going to learn a lot over the course of the next couple months, and I'm actually intrigued. And it's a question. I'm asking a question, but I know there's no answer to it. What does this do to the kicker market moving forward?
I don't think it'll affect the kicker market that much because still at the end of the day, you got to put 3 points on the board when you can. But yeah, I don't know. It's.
Well, I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. It's the kick. Maybe it does now that I'm not. I said no, nothing either. But now that I'm thinking about it, kickers are almost going to be more valued because they're going to have to kick either out of the back of the end zone, which not everybody can do every single time, and
or hit one of the mortar kicks to go straight up.
And I'm talking about kickoffs in general, not like punts, but like kickoffs in general. They're gonna have to place it pretty freaking specific. So their accuracy is going to become a better, more of a weapon than it was before. Or you just need the big leg and just take your lump at the 25 or whatever.
Yeah, when it came out of my mouth and how it came out of my mouth, it sounded like I was trying to say that the kicker market was going to go down. I think it might actually elevate their contracts. Yeah. Because you're right. You're playing accuracy games now at this point. They're a glorified golfer with their feet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And Justin Tucker brought up something a couple years ago, and I wish I could give courtesy to whatever broadcast it was, that a kicker should be allowed on a kickoff if they moved it to the 20. I think they kick off from the 35 now. If they did it at the 25, if the kicker can actually kick it through the damn uprights on a kickoff, get 1 point. Now that'll fuck up everyone's block pools, by the
way. There's a Larry David clip that you guys should watch if you haven't. I'm just gonna tell you the gist of it right now, and I'm gonna butcher it, but he wants kickers completely out of football. He thinks it's the stupidest thing ever. And his comparison was, what if in the middle of the baseball game, you just had your center fielder with a fungo bat and he had to hit it through the center field, through a big upright in center field? He was like, it's so weird. It has no bearing on the game at all. It's so funny listening to Larry David talk about it. He's like the funniest dude ever.
Can you believe that when they started the NFL, they actually had the damn uprights in the front of the end zone? So you could run into the pole.
How stupid is that? How stupid is that looking back on that? It's crazy. We'll move off of kickers because I know that's probably not the most popular thing in the world to talk about. Let's talk about
how the hell did we get here?
Let's talk about DJ Moore. He a Terp. He got 4 years, $110 million from the Chicago Bears. I think it was somewhere around $80 million guaranteed. One of the bigger receiver contracts in the league. And look, dude deserves it. He's produced with not much at quarterback in his career, and guy's a stud. And Chicago is, I mean, if Caleb Williams is the answer, Chicago is going to be good this year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the clips coming out of training camp right now of Caleb Williams, I mean, obviously it's training camp and it's not real quite yet in terms of like the defenses that they're throwing in front of them. But I mean, he's making some spectacular throws right now. Not that it means shit yet, but I mean, as a Bears fan, you got to feel good.
Yeah. They were talking about, I want to say it was Albert Breer was talking. It was Albert Breer. Now that I think about it, was talking that they knew they were drafting Caleb Williams even during the combine. So when they got that like 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, whatever it is for that interview period at the combine, they were already installing offense so that he can hit the ground sprinting. So he should be ready. Now, I know he had a little bit of a hiccup with his contract. His father's a big financial guy. But that being said, I think they're going to be really good. Now, caveat to all that, Matt Eberflus is the football version of Aaron Boone. He will find a way to mismanage this team. And when he does...
Why do you say that? I don't understand.
Because he sucks as a coach.
Why?
And,
why do you
Bill
say
Belichick
that?
Belichick is on the other line, Chicago.
Why? I don't understand why you think he sucks. Because he's had a shitty team the past 2 years.
Yeah.
He can't do anything. He doesn't draft. He's not the one making all the moves. The GM is.
He's not a good coach. And the reason he's schematically always he's overmatched every single time that they go out there, and then it makes Justin Fields go around like Russell Wilson back in the Pete Carroll days. It's just go, hey, run around. Just go run around and have schoolyard ball all of a sudden.
Because his team sucks.
And then they traded away all the guys. He shouldn't be a head coach. He's another coordinator.
He's not the one making the moves, though.
That's what Ryan Pace or whatever the hell the guy's name is. He might not.
You could say he sucks. So, like I can't put all the blame on Eberflus, especially since he actually got some good results at the end of the last 6 games of the year for Chicago last year, with playing with nothing. Like
coaching in the NFL, it's probably the coach that matters the most. Like I don't think baseball managers, equate to as many wins as NFL coaches.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I know Eberflus has been overmatched before.
Yeah.
It was just like Nathaniel Hackett. He reminds me a lot of Nathaniel Hackett, overmatched, kicking 66-yard field goals.
Aaron Rodgers guy, Nathaniel Hackett, by the way.
Great. It's the only reason he has a job is because of a guy named Rodgers with a D, by the way. Doesn't pay his taxes.
I think we'll learn a lot about Eberflus this year. I think he's been, like Brooks said, I think he's been given kind of a shit hand in Chicago the last few years, and I think we'll find out a lot about him this year. And look, if he gets success out of Caleb Williams, obviously they put as many weapons around him as they possibly could, then I think we'll maybe change Rodgers' tune.
No, I will take 2 pies to the face. 2 pies. I'll let both of you pie me. I don't think Matt Eberflus makes it through the season. You heard it here first, folks. He does not make it through the season.
All right, write that down so we don't forget that.
Yeah. I'll take 2 pies to the face. They just can't be lemon meringue because I don't want to get burned because that hurts.
Didn't I have lemon meringue?
I don't know whatever your wife bought.
No. You and Dell sent it.
All right, then I'll take 1 lemon meringue.
Shout out Dangerously Delicious. It was delicious. All right.
So 2 pie to the face bet that Matt Eberflus does not make it through the season.
Okay.
I might almost double down and say that he's the first coach fired of the season.
Do it. You won't.
I'm sure you can.
All right. What are you doubling down? 4 pies?
I'll take 4 pies. I'll let Kirsten and Dixie. Dixie can pie me right here, and then she'll eat the pie.
All right. It's been. Didn't even need to ask you for that. You just gave us a free pie.
All right, we are going to move on to our That's a Shame segment. Yeah. My That's a Shame for the week is Jason Lockenfora and everything about that man. I look like he was having a physical meltdown on Twitter the other night. If you've read through some of his tweets, God, dude, I know you're trying to do it for clicks, but God, please just get off the internet and stop trying to brainwash these Orioles fans. You are so stupid.
My That's a Shame for the week is, without a doubt, the triathletes that had to deal with the terrible water conditions in is it the Sven? How do you say it? The Seine River in the Olympics. I mean, they're ridiculous. France spent $1.4 billion to clean up 2,000 years of absolute pollution in that water, and then you're going to make people swim in it. They were talking about if you inhale, if any water intake is taken in, you might get violently ill because it's basically sewage.
Yeah, that swimming through a sewer, swimming through poop.
They're swimming through poop, and they're probably doing it right now because I think they started about an hour ago.
I mean, they're Shawshanking it right through that river.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's all Andy Dufresne. It's Andy Dufresne all over the place with swim caps on. That's a shame.
That's rough. That's like swimming in the harbor like 10 years ago, maybe worse. I don't know. My That's a Shame is, we've already brought it up, people who put mayo on hot dogs. Kirsten, are you still here?
She's outside.
That had me, I couldn't get past it last night. It had my mind in a pretzel. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't figure out how anybody would even think about doing that in the first place, let alone that's your favorite condiment. I think we literally brought this up because we were watching the hot dog race, ketchup one, last night. We were watching the hot dog race last night at the game, and she was like, "Well, why don't they have mayo?" And I'm like, "What? Psychopath, absolute psychopath."
I'm texting her right now that you're crushing her about the mayo. She might come over here and just absolutely hit you over the head with an oar.
Yeah, I'm about to get karate chops.
Just a quick update for you, those of you listening to our podcast. The Orioles are winning 2-0 in the top of the second inning. Ryan Mountcastle hit a 2 RBI triple in the first inning. So yeah, G-Rod's got 3 strikeouts through 1 2/3 so far, and the Orioles are winning, and it seems like the Yankees are also winning. The Phillies are not great right now, which sucks because they've been the best team in baseball all year, and they're playing the Yankees, and we want the Yankees to lose all the games. Yeah. I think this is the point of the show where we're going to go into our snake draft for today. I know yesterday at the Ryan Ripken studio, we announced that we were going to do our snake draft. We kind of ran out of time there with that Trevor Rogers deal coming through. And yeah, just shit went crazy at the trade deadline. So we had to cut out early. We're going to do our draft now, though. Our draft for the week is best sports nicknames, and this is limited to the 4 major sports, so no golf.
Specifically athletes,
Yeah.
not the team name, the athlete's
Yeah.
name.
Yes. Brooks won, I believe, our last draft. I don't know who came in second. Brian, you want to flip a coin, or you want to go second or third?
Let's go around the room.
Okay. So Brooks is going to start us off with the best athlete nickname draft.
Yep, I definitely won. Definitely won that one. We need to keep a tally on, and if I had to bet, I'm betting that guy in the blue over there probably came in last. But
if you went against grilled cheese, peanut butter jelly, lobster roll, crab cake, Sammy, there's something wrong with you people. There's something wrong with you. You don't deserve to be watching.
Delaware was on your side. Delaware was on your side.
Yeah. If you want a good meal, you come over this household. All right. I don't want to go over to Ice Cream Sandwich Boy over there. Okay.
Hey, I got this. I mean, you can have a meal and dessert at my house. I actually dessert for every meal. How about that? Yeah, I'm gonna guess George Costanza's probably gonna beat you this week too.
Oh yeah.
He's not. He doesn't even have a voice in this whole thing, but he's gonna win.
What a winner.
Yeah, I guess with my number 1 overall pick, I gotta go.
Oh, can I stop you real fast? I told Kirsten just now that you were absolutely burying her with the mayo. She goes, but wait till you find out that I also put tartar sauce on my hot dog. That is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, you should. You gotta leave her out.
All right.
You need to change the code to the
I'm
house.
changing the locks, guys. I'm changing the locks, everybody.
Something wrong with that one. Another stipulation that we were talking about before we went on for nicknames is you can only, if you use, so obviously Babe Ruth has a ton of nicknames. If you use one of those, he's now off the board. You can't pick any of his other nicknames. So with the number 1 overall pick, I am going to go with the round mound of rebound.
It's a good call. It's a great one.
Can't go wrong there. Charles Barkley, for anybody who doesn't know who that is.
Sir Charles Barkley.
Yep.
That's a great first pick. That's probably right up in my top. I'm going to go with the Big Hurt. It's one of the most intimidating and coolest nicknames ever. Just an absolute mammoth of a human being, Frank Thomas.
Nothing wrong with that one whatsoever. I'm going to go with Matt. I get 2. I'm going to go Magic Johnson, and I will also go with Pistol Pete Maravich.
All right. I got my number 2 seed still on the board, and I'm going to take it. The Crime Dog, Fred McGriff, baby.
Nice work.
Such a sick nickname.
I got 2 coming up here. Man, you guys did a whole lot more research than I did. I mean, I got to take. Oh, yeah, you guys did talk about it. I got to go with the Hebrew Hammer, Al Rosen. I think that is a awesome nickname.
Oh, you're going for the Jewish vote here. This is great. Or you're just trying to get really good delicatessen moving forward.
I don't know.
You don't know who the hell the Hebrew Hammer is?
Al Rosen.
Al Rosen.
Don't you know? Hey, I'm doing limited research here.
Yeah,
but the Hebrew Hammer is a great freaking nickname.
See,
and you know what?
Ice Cream Sandwich over there is just because he's doing research right now.
And then I'm also gonna go with, I think, one of the most liked pitchers of all time, not just because of his athletic ability and his prowess on the mound, but his prowess at the plate. Big sexy Bartolo Colon.
You can't go against a big sexy name.
Brooks has already forfeited his draft, so we're just gonna
Hebrew
the
hammer.
Hebrew hammer.
I hope the owner of Atman's is watching, so you can get free food for the rest of your life or something.
Oh man, I have so many ways I want to go.
Looking for a sponsor.
I'm gonna take Air Jordan.
That's
Yeah,
totally cheap.
how's that cheap? Magic.
I'm going prime time
Prime time. That's a good one.
and Dr. J.
Dr. J is also a sweet nickname. Can't fault you for any of those. There's so many I want to take. I'm gonna take Sweetness. Walter Payton.
It's a good one.
All right, I'm rounding out my draft with. I actually don't know who my fifth is going to be, but the one that I wanted you not to take is the Hick from French Lick.
Yes, it's great.
Larry Bird. And I mean, this is hard to pass up here. Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval.
You took mine. Damn you.
How's my draft looking now, Brian?
I've got so many on my
Whatever
honorable
you say,
mentions.
Chipwich.
I've got so many on my honorable mentions that are probably more popular or better than this one, but this is one of my very favorite nicknames of all time. Bob Feller, the Heater from Van Meter.
I've never
What
even heard
a
that
sick
before.
nickname that is. The Heater from Van Meter.
Whoa. There are so many good ones that are still left on the board here. I'll finish out my draft with you got to take the great one. The great one.
The great one is The Rock. He's talking about Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. I mean, he's an iconic player.
The
It's
best
not
hockey player of all
it's not the
time.
coolest nickname, I don't think. Do we have any honorable mentions we want to go through? Rogers, you go ahead.
88
Yeah.
honorable mentions.
One that I'm a little upset that I didn't pick before you guys go through
ahead.
the other 100 ones that you have written down. The big unit, it's a travesty that did not get picked.
Yeah.
Maybe that should have been my Hebrew Hammer, but I think the Hebrew Hammer is a funny ass name.
It's great.
Al Rosen, you don't know?
Al Rosen, yeah. Yeah, he does our taxes.
Could have been Al Roker for all I know.
He runs the dry cleaner down the street. We have a lot of the same ones, so I'm not going to steal all of them from you guys. The Playmaker, the Say Hey Kid, the Bus, Earl the Pearl, and Mean Joe Green. I have more, but I'll let you guys continue with
Colton Cowser just hit a homer, by the way. 3-0 O's.
Bang Biscuit.
Bang.
Bang
Drew Burton. Yeah. I mean, I have a million. The Yankee Clipper, the Black Mamba, Kobe, Charlie Hustle, Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare.
Oh,
That's such a sick nickname. The Big Fundamental, the Glove, the Refrigerator, the Answer, the Truth, the Admiral, Mr. October, the Say Hey Kid. I mean, just so many really good ones.
Mean Joe Green.
Yeah, another one. Adam Dunn, the Big Donkey.
The Big Donkey. William the Refrigerator Perry still left on the board. The Answer and Allen Iverson. And then look, I'm not going to say he's a good human being, but Adam Pac-Man Jones, just because I love the video game as a kid.
Yeah, and being from Baltimore, shame on us also for not taking the Sheriff of Swattingham.
Oh, Mark Reynolds.
Somebody had to take the Sheriff.
Also, nobody took the Iron Man.
Yeah, I told Ryan that Iron Man is not allowed to be used.
What about Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups?
Big Shot Bob, Robert Ory. Yeah. Hammer and Hank. No one took
No one took Big Poppy, by the way.
Nobody's fuck Big Poppy.
Yeah.
That's a really
Big Poppy.
He owes us a damn phone in the Oriole visitors dugout. I'm not taking him. The Sultan of SWAT, the Big Bambino. We didn't take any Babe Ruth ones. Hammer and Hank.
Dick the Night Train Lane.
Yeah. Ed Too Tall Jones. Like, there's so many good ones. We took boxing completely out of this because it opens up an entire new category.
Yeah, I mean, that's our draft. I'll run through it real quick again for you guys.
Oh, and we forgot the kid. We forgot Junior.
Yeah,
Ken Griffey.
Junior, the kid. That's Brooks' favorite player of all time. He's probably going to be sad he missed that. But Brooks' draft, the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley, the Hebrew Hammer, Al Rosen.
If you win,
We don't know either.
if you win this fucking draft, drafting the Hebrew Hammer,
Big Sexy Bartolo Colon, the Hick from French Lick in Larry Bird, and Kung Fu Panda Pablo Sandoval.
That sounds like a winner.
Yeah, that sounds like something.
You
My
got a
list
Jewish
is
guy and a freaking bear.
my list is the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, the Crime Dog, Fred McGriff, Air Jordan, Michael Jordan, Sweetness, Walter Payton, and the Heater from Van Meter is Bob Feller. What are we
forgot
looking at?
Did we say the bus?
No, I didn't.
It's an honorable mention. Yeah.
Genie Bus.
No, not
No.
Genie Bus. No. Phil Jackson will come kick my ass.
Brian has Magic Johnson for Irvin, obviously. Pistol Pete Maravich, prime time, Deion Sanders, Dr. J, Julius Irving, and the great one, The Rock. No, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, the great one.
Yeah.
We also Kenny the Snake Stabler. It's another good one that I didn't think about till right now.
Jake the Snake Plumber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a ton of really awesome nicknames. I'm sure we missed some. We didn't mention any, but that's our list. Big Dick Nick is also a nickname. It is a nickname.
Hakeem the Dream.
Yeah.
We forgot the glove of Gary Payton.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp, the Rain Man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
The human highlight reel, Dominique Wilkins.
Greg Wilson in his third leg.
Yeah, third leg Greg.
Third leg Greg. Yeah. Good looking man. Going in the Hawkeye draft too, man. He's going in the 4th round.
Ton of good names. We are going to wrap up, guys. I have to be in Ocean City for work at 5:00, and we are pushing it. So thank you very much for tuning in. Go O's. If you guys have any questions, you want to interact with us, please do so on all of our socials. And like, comment, subscribe. And thanks. Another thank you to Ryan Ripken and his team yesterday. Did a great job hosting us, and hopefully we'll be able to collab with them more in the future. We got to talk about Delaware Dave. Thank you so much, Del, for the pizza yesterday and for all the hospitality and just for being the best dude. Pig and Rooster. Shout out to Pig and Rooster, the Chaucer. They've been main sponsors for our show. Shout out to George Costanza and the Timeless Art of Seduction. And anything else you guys want to say before we sign off? Yeah. All the boys at the Ryan Ripken Show, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your hospitality, everything you've done for us and with us. Yeah. And, to the moon. Ryan Ripken to the moon.
To the moon.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
See you guys.
Signing
Be good.
off.
Take care.